The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet, with more than 4 million unique users on demand on iTunes and on YouTube, and also available on my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you can post your comments, whether you agree with yours truly or not, and subscribe to my Twitter feed, twitter.com/GaryBaumgarten, which is a great news feed, if I do say so myself, with all due modesty. And thanks to our good friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we're syndicated to an additional 12 million households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. Our guest the first half of the show is supposed to be Jennifer Horn, but she's MIA right now. Boaz is trying to get a hold of her. Jennifer Horn is a radio talk show host in New Hampshire, a conservative, a former candidate on the GOP ticket for Congress, who was among the legions of people outside of the town hall meeting in New Hampshire yesterday, where Barack Obama was pushing forward his health care plan. I wanted her on to give her side of the loyal opposition. And on the second half of the show, we've invited Frank Schaeffer, who is a born-again former evangelist, who is very, very much on the right and who is now on the left, and who feels that at least some of the people demonstrating against the health care plan are dangerous. And he's fearful that with all of this excessive rhetoric that's going on, that we could actually even see violence surrounding the issue before it's all over. Now, earlier today, we were talking about this issue here on News Talk Online on Paltalk.com. Thank you, Boaz. And we heard that there was, at least according to several of our callers, this was the first I heard of it, violence at a protest against the health care plan that was held at a town hall meeting in Florida. But it wasn't what Frank Schaeffer is concerned about. According to the callers earlier today, these were people that they described as union goons who were on the side of health care reform that were causing the trouble. In any event, you all know my position on this, and I'm going to reiterate it for my good friend Jennifer Horn's benefit because she's on the line with us now. And that is, I'm not just nonpartisan, I've become anti-partisan. I'm tired of members of Congress and people following blindly what the Republican Party or the Democratic Party tells them that they should do and say and support and oppose. I'm with Jesse Ventura when he says that we're all becoming a bunch of lemmings. I'm afraid that he is absolutely right about that. Jennifer Horn, who is a radio talk show host in New Hampshire and a conservative and a demonstrator outside the president's town hall meeting yesterday, and someone I consider a good friend. Welcome to News Talk Online on Paltalk.com.
Hey, Gary, thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here today. Sounds like you have a great conversation started already.
Yeah, we do, I think, because we have a great audience, as is yours. Do you share in my concern about how this rhetoric is going? You're a radio talk show host. Are you as concerned as am I when Rush Limbaugh refers to the White House and the supporters of the White House as Nazis, and when on the other side of the coin, John Dingell, the Democratic dean of the House of Representatives, compares the people who shouted down his town hall meeting to the KKK.
I couldn't feel more strongly about this. This has become so negative and so non-productive. It really, it's worse than almost, I can't think of anything in modern history that has been as destructive to the democratic process as what we've seen unfold with all of this. But I've been thinking about this a lot, Gary, especially the last couple of weeks. I had a vacation time, and so I was home and able to kind of watch all of this unfold almost minute by minute in some cases. And I look at it now, and it's become clear to me this is about a lot more than just health care. It's not just about what's the right reform, because I think everybody agrees that we need reform. And so you have to look at it and say, where does this vitriol come from? Why are people so angry on both sides of this thing? What bothers me the most about it is when I hear elected leadership, and we've seen this happen in the past with other issues, so I don't want people to think I'm just picking on this administration or this Congress. But what bothers me the most is when elected leadership gets into the game of name-calling. Somebody on the radio wants to mouth off and call names, somebody at home, somebody standing with a sign. That's different. When somebody who has been elected by the people, they put their faith and their trust into you, and you start calling people un-American, you say, get out of the way, we don't need you to get this done. That really bothers me a lot, because then I think we're moving into where people are trying to intimidate free speech. And I think it becomes a much bigger, more comprehensive problem then.
Frank Schaeffer, with whom you will not politically agree at all, who will be my next guest, says that he's concerned that this could lead to violence here in the United States. Do you agree with him, at least on that?
Well, first of all, it already has. There have been protesters. There have been people, standing outside these town halls who have been assaulted. It's already led to violence. And unfortunately, and I'm happy to be corrected, but as far as I've been able to see on all of the different news sources out there, the incidents of violence so far have been initiated when people who are against the protesters come in and try to quiet them. And again, I don't want to harp on it, and maybe not everyone agrees with me, but I'm watching this grow into what I think is a free speech issue. Why are people so offended by the protesters? You can agree with them or disagree with them. I used to drive up and down Main Street in my hometown here for 4 years straight, and 5 out of 7 days there were people in front of City Hall protesting the war in Iraq with horrible messages on their sign, saying terrible things about the president, sometimes terrible things about soldiers. I never once stopped and threw a punch at them or suggested for a moment that they didn't have a right to be there. I don't understand why people are so offended by the fact that people who disagree are getting upset and are getting out there and expressing themselves.
Congressman Green, I believe is his name, in Texas, a Democrat, is now